Hi, good day to you, and thank you for joining me on the mat. Today we're just going to kind of begin with a little bit of subtle movement, finding a few twists and kind of detoxing the body. It's Friday today, so I'm getting ready to gear up for the weekend and just thought it might be nice to do something to kind of help bring us all back to center after a long week. And so whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and get started just by sitting in a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. You can sit here on your feet, or if it's more comfortable, we can sit cross-legged. Whatever serves your body the best. Then we'll begin by relaxing the shoulders, kind of bringing an awareness back to the breath. Slow, steady inhales. A little bit deeper on the exhale. And we'll work through 3 rounds of breath here. Just on your own pace. Relaxing the shoulders. Feeling yourself on your sit bones. And slowly letting the week fade back into the background. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and sweep the arms up overhead. Getting a nice long stretch here before exhaling and twisting over toward the left side. Taking the right hands to the left knee and taking your gaze or your drishti just behind you. Very light here, not wedging at the spine. Just nice and controlled twist. And we'll slowly release back to center as we exhale. Maybe taking up a couple of rounds of shoulder rolls. Maybe just taking 2 or 3 back, and then reversing forward. It's going to look and feel different for everybody. Bringing ourselves back to center, resetting, swinging the arms up overhead as we inhale, and exhaling, this time left hand to right knee, taking your gaze or your drishti over the left shoulder. As we exhale, we'll slowly release, walking ourselves back to center. We're going to go ahead and move into a tabletop here, nice and light. Taking the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and we're going to move through 3 rounds of cat-cow. So on your inhale, lift the head, the chest, the tailbone. And exhale, round the spine, press the mat away. Maybe shaking the head out side to side. Before releasing and opening back up. Exhale. Finding that angry cat. Last one, release back to tabletop. Find that cow pose, rising from the heart. And exhale. Just warming up the spine here. And back to center. We're going to just lightly take the right foot back, coming onto the toes. You can make an adjustment if you need to here. Just kind of massage on those right toes. Find some movement if it serves you. And as you inhale and you find some stability here, we're going to pull that right leg up. Taking the gaze or just shape forward. Maybe taking the left arm out if you feel supported here or would just like a challenge. As we exhale, we'll bring knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. We'll take two more that way. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe a funky airplane, taking the left arm out to the side. Right foot comes out. You also have the option of taking that foot down to the mat. Wherever you are today, listen to your body. Exhale, release back to center. Left hand comes down, right knee comes down. We're going to go ahead and come up off of the wrist for a moment. Maybe take some wrist circles. Come back to that breath. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, release. Coming back into that tabletop. Nice, slow, and controlled here. This time we're going to take the left foot back, kind of massaging on those toes. And whenever you find that stability, go ahead and take a lift. Flexing at the heel, maybe the right arm comes out. Pulling the core in here. Relieving the pressure from the low back. As we exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Last one, knee to elbow. You got this. And lengthen, opening up here, flexing at the heel. Taking one last breath. And we'll exhale and find that funky airplane if it serves you. Remembering your option to take the toes down. You might have to make some adjustments here. And it's going to feel different on both sides. So if you're a little wobbly on one side, don't worry about it. Just shows you the spaces that you can grow. And inhale back to center. Exhale, right hand comes down, left knee comes down. We're going to sit back into a child's pose, nice and slow. Releasing the head onto the mat, maybe massaging that third eye. And while you're here in your child's pose, if it serves you, you can go ahead and set your intention for class here. Reaching with the arms, sitting back onto the heels. And maybe that intention today is something light. Maybe it's just being mindful through your practice. Maybe it's to let go of something that's been harboring too much of your attention lately. Or perhaps you're here to practice non-attachment. Whatever the reason, thank yourself for showing up today. And I thank you for joining me. On your next breath, we're just going to walk those hands over to the right side, maybe taking the left hand over the right, kind of opening up that left side body. And exhaling back to center, walking those hands to the left side of your mat. Exhale, release back to center. We're going to begin working our way back into that tabletop. We're going to inhale, open onto the right side, taking the arms straight up. Exhale, halfway thread the needle. Inhale, rise. Exhale, halfway thread. Last one, rise. Big open heart. Exhale, release. We're going to all the way thread that needle nice and slow. Coming onto that right tricep, right shoulder, right ear. You can leave the left side, left arm here, or if you'd like a little bit more, you can take it down to the low back. Whatever serves your practice today. This is your time, your space, your body. Find what feels good for you. Take one more deep cleansing breath here. First, begin by emptying all the air out of your lungs. And a nice deep inhale in through the nose. Hold at the top for a breath, and then exhale, releasing that hot air out of your mouth. We're going to slide the left hand back by the face as we guide ourselves back up. Finding one last heart opener before exhaling the right hand back to the mat. Maybe take a couple rounds of cat-cow here in between. So remember, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. As you inhale, everything lifts. As you exhale, round the shoulders, press the mat away. And release back to center. We're going to work through the same thing on the left side. So whenever you're ready, we're going to inhale, open, arm comes all the way up. Exhale, release, halfway. Inhale, rise, opening the heart. Exhale, surrender. Halfway thread. Inhale, rise, last one. Exhale, release. Slowly begin to slide down on that left side. Being mindful, it might feel a little bit different on this side. On your next breath, go ahead and empty the lungs, preparing for that cleansing breath. And then as you inhale through the nose, count to 4. Hold for 2. And exhale out of the mouth. We're going to pull the right arm back by the face so we have support as we press ourselves up. Opening one last time on the left side. And exhaling, left hand comes down. Take 2 rounds of cat-cow here in between. As you inhale, lift the head, the chest, the tailbone. And exhale, round the spine. Press them out away. Release back to tabletop. Inhale for cow. Exhale, angry cat. And release back to center. From here, we're going to take a little bit of time for the hips. Nothing too serious. So if you have some blocks, make sure that you grab them and pull them close. We're just going to begin here in a 90-90 variation. If you want a little bit more support for your knee, you can just fold your mat over. So we're going to begin here in our little 90-90, pulsing onto the left side, kind of opening and letting those hips breathe. Maybe just take 5 or 7 on the left side. Kind of just meet your body where it's at. And we'll come back to center. Take our blocks out to the front. And here we're just going to kind of make some hip circles. And this is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little awkward at first. And you can alternate side to side. There's no real rhyme or reason here. It's okay if you want to keep your foot out wider. Wherever you are today, we're just going to work through 5 or 6 little hip circles. I usually take 3 or 4 in the front, and then I reverse that direction. Just kind of creating some space. And finally, we're going to release and come back on up. We're going to open onto the left side. Right hand comes up and over. Kind of in a modified side angle. You don't want to dump into the shoulder. You want there to be a lot of space here. And take the gaze or the drishti up. Pinky down. And as you exhale, we're going to open all the way to the opposite side. If you'd like to use your block here, you have that option. And finally, inhale back to center. I'm going to release that left knee to the mat. This time we're going to set up on the right side, taking the right foot out to the side, hands to the hips, or anywhere that's comfortable and serves you. We're just going to begin to pulse on the right side. Remember to be mindful, it might feel a little bit different on this side. I'm sure you've heard before that we hold a lot of tension in our bodies. We hold especially a lot of tension in the hips, so anytime that we're not expressing our true self or our feelings, our insecurities, they get trapped in our bodies, which leads to a lot of imbalances and tension. So by practicing yoga and practicing hip openers, we help to relieve some of that tension in the body and kind of create a little bit more space. So we're going to come back to our blocks. Find our hip circles on the right side. Just nice and slow, giving yourself some room, making any adjustments that are needed. And then we'll reverse to the opposite direction. And if it's more comfortable for you to put a towel under your knee, you always have that option as well. Maybe just one more for good measure. And we'll go ahead and release, walking back up the mat. Coming back to our center here. Taking the right arm lightly down to the left right knee. Taking the gaze or the drishti up. And finding that modified side angle. Inhale back to center, slowly taking it all the way down on the left side. Remember, if you'd like to have your block here, you have that option. And inhale as we rise all the way up. We can go ahead and release the bind in the mat, making adjustments as needed. Then we can meet in Malasana. So you're going to take your feet out to the sides, hips come down. You might have to move around in your Malasana for a moment, your Yogi squat or Garland pose. If you live in a tight body or have tight hips, this can be a really rewarding pose, but also a little bit uncomfortable at first. So just lightly bringing the toes in, bringing the arms here to heart center, breathing into the pose. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly push the hips up, taking the arms all the way as we rise. And exhale, release back down into Malasana. We're going to move through 2 more of those. So go ahead and exhale, send the hips up, release all the way. Inhale at the top, exhale Malasana. You can rest for a moment. Last one, exhale, sending the hips up and back, and rising all the way. Inhale at the top, and exhale, Malasana. For Malasana, you can just switch into some Skandasana Slides. You don't have to have your heel flat to the floor. If you're not quite there, it's okay. We're just going to switch from side to side here. So if you want a little bit of a balance challenge, you can take your arms, your hands to heart center, and just work through coming into Skandasana. If you want to try to go ahead and take that foot down all the way, you can kind of use your block for support here, sending that left foot back and down onto the mat. Resting into your Skandasana, you can open up here. Or maybe take it to the opposite side. And inhale, coming back up. We're going to switch to the right side. So remember, if you'd like to work your way onto your flat foot, just have a seat on the block here. Flexing at the left heel, opening up, and exhale, reverse. And we'll come on back up. And as you practice your Skandasana, you'll find the longer that you try, the more that you practice, the more likely you're just going to be able to eventually get that foot all the way down to the mat. Last one. And exhale. We're going to come back into one last Malasana, bringing those toes, heels in, toes lightly out. And exhale, take the hands down. We're going to send the hips up, walking the feet in. Slight bend in the knees. Find your forward fold. Releasing the head. Letting the neck be heavy. You have a couple of options for your hands. You can take them back behind your feet here. You can interlace your elbows. We're just going to hang. You can swing side to side. take your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe hands come to shin. Exhale, release. Take a deep bend in the right knee, planting the right hand on the mat. We're going to inhale, open over to the left side. You have a couple of options here. You can leave your arm where it's at. Or if you'd like to take a little bit deeper bind, you can take the right hand back behind you, reaching for that left fingertip, and taking the gaze or drishti up. And exhale, everything melts back down. Find that forward fold again. Maybe swing side to side. Cutting onto the knife edge of those feet. Plant the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take a nice bend in the left side, planting the left hand, opening up the heart to the right side. Sending the right hip back, pulling the left hip back. Remember that modification if you'd like to take a bind. And exhale, everything melts back down. This time we're going to grab the opposite elbows and we're going to work through some sunflowers. So what you're going to do is you're going to take yourself up to the right side, opening all the way, kind of like a flower in bloom. Maybe stretching at the top, playing around on your feet. And we're going to exhale to the left side, taking a slight bend in the knees as we fall. Inhale, rise over to the right. Exhale, fall to the left. I'll take one more that way. Inhale onto the right, opening onto the left side, and releasing back down. Maybe swaying in between. We're going to open onto the left side, all the way up, nice and round. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale, release. Last one on the left side. Maybe stretch at the top. And release. Plant the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step the feet back, find your plank. Pulling the belly in here. On your inhale, take the left toes up. Exhale, left toes down. Inhale, take the right toes up. Exhale, take them down. We're going to lower all the way down between the elbows, elbows back. Nice, slow and controlled. Coming down onto the belly. You're going to take your hands just about mat width apart. We're going to work through some isolating cobras. So you can begin with your head on the mat. You can be on your fingertips or flat palms. I like to come onto my fingertips. And then as we inhale, we're going to lightly begin to lift the head, the chest, pressing into the feet. Exhale, release. We're going to come a little bit higher on this one. So as you inhale, begin to rise all the way up, opening the heart and the chest, following the gaze. Exhale, release. It's nice and slow. Letting your eyes lead. On your inhale, take one more that way. Inhale, rising, opening the heart and the chest. Exhale, release. Now this time as we rise, we're going to take our gaze over the left shoulder. And exhale, come back to center, release. Inhale, everything lifts, taking the gaze over to the right. And slowly release down to the mat. I'm going to take two more. On your inhale, everything lifts. Now as you exhale, let's take the right shoulder in, turning to the left. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, take it all the way up. Exhale, left shoulder comes down. Taking the gaze over to the right. Coming onto the palms. Taking the head back to center. And just go ahead and reset here for a moment. Take a moment to reflect on everything that you've just done. Then we're going to take the forehead back to the mat. Hands come just down. Palms facing the midline of your body. And on our first breath in, we're going to inhale, lifting the head, the chest, and the hands. Pressing the tops of the feet to the mat. And exhale, take it down. On your next breath, we're going to inhale and just take the feet and the legs up. And then exhale, release. You're going to take a breath in between. The next time you inhale, we're going to lift the head, the chest, the hands, and the feet. On your next breath, as you inhale, everything lifts. Rising. Finding that full locus. Don't forget to breathe. And exhale, release. Taking it all the way back down. We'll take one more full locus. On your next breath, come back to center. Get prepared. And as you inhale, begin to rise, everything lifts. Head, the chest, the tailbone. Exhale, release. From here, we're going to take the left arm out to the side. Right arm comes down by our right ear. Then we're going to begin to press ourselves over to the left side, swinging that left foot over. Taking it flat onto the mat, being mindful of our alignment. And an exhale, release back to center. Nice and slow as you roll back over. This time taking the right arm out to the side. Left hand comes by the ear. Pressing ourselves back over the right side body. take one last breath here, and we're gonna inhale, rolling ourselves back to center. Make any adjustments needed here. Plant the hands. We're gonna rise up into a plank. Slowly sending the hips back, finding our first downward facing dog of the day. Might want to pedal out the feet a little bit here. And releasing any stiffness or soreness in the back of the legs. Then we're going to take a nice deep bend in the knees. Taking your gaze or your drishti just up to your thighs. Pressing away at the mat. It's okay if your heels don't touch the ground. On your next breath, we're going to slowly release the knees to hovering, in a hovering tabletop. We're going to take the left arm to the right shoulder, right to left. We're going to work through 5 on each side. 4. Last set. 5. 5. And then slowly send your hips up and back. Find that downward dog again. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider, about mat width apart. We're going to ease into this wide-legged downward dog. Maybe finding some movement, rocking the hips side to side before settling in. And we're going to take the right hand either to the left knee, the left calf muscle, the left ankle. Find that twist here. You can pull a little bit if you need a little bit more. Taking your gaze or your drishti up. And exhale, releasing that right hand back where it came from. This time we're going to walk the left hand to that knee, calf, or ankle. Getting that twist on the opposite side. Might feel really good and yummy, or it might be a little bit tight. Go ahead and inhale, left arm back to center. Go ahead and take the feet in. And we're just going to step or hop into Malasana. Nice and slow, controlled here. Let the tension kind of melt away out of your body for a moment. As we exhale, we're going to send the hips up, planting the palms, walking the feet in, finding that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. We're going to step or hop the feet back into a plank. From plank, you can just go straight to downward dog, or we can move through that vinyasa, your chaturanga. Taking the elbows back. Nice, slow, and controlled. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walking the feet back to center here. We'll take the left leg up and back. Finding a 3-legged dog. Slight bend in the knee. Finding those hip circles. Take 3 in one direction. And then we'll take 3 in the opposite direction. Your hip is a ball and socket joint. So you should have a pretty good range of motion here. Back to 3-legged dog. Then we're going to inhale that knee into chest, planting the foot, rising into a crescent. Being mindful of where that knee is, making sure it's either in line or behind the ankle. You can take your hands to heart center. You can take them up, or even to goddess or cactus pose. And from here, we're just going to lightly Begin to pulse from the back leg. We're going to take 5 little pulses here. And on the end, on the last one, the 5th one, we're going to take the right knee all the way down, releasing the toes. You're going to take your hands down to the mat, sending the hips back, rising that left foot off of the mat. If you'd like your blocks here in your half split, you have that option as well. So as we inhale, we're going to open up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to find one of my favorite twists here. Try not to dump into the shoulder too much. And of course, you can adjust your stance as much as you need to. If you need a blanket or a pillow under your knee, that's also always an option. And an exhale, release back to center. We're sending the hips back, finding that half split. Beautiful. Inhale all the way up. Walking ourselves into that modified crescent a little bit more. And exhale, we'll come back to center. So you can take your left foot back here. And we're going to take it up to the side, coming into like a gate pose. So left foot out to the side. You can use your blocks if you'd like. And we're just going to inhale, rise. Exhale, release over to the right side, taking that left arm up and over. And as we exhale, we're going to sweep all the way, taking the hands forward. Foot is still out at the side, parallel with the mat. And while we're here, we're going to take 1 round of cat-cow. So you might have to adjust a little bit, but as you're ready, go ahead and inhale, opening the heart and the chest. Exhale, round the spine, press the mat away. Inhale back to center, and then we're going to walk the hands back up the body, taking a slight bend in the knee, and opening back into that extended side angle. Inhale to release, coming our way back to center. You can take the knees in, maybe stretch the backs of the toes for a moment. We're going to come back onto the hands, lifting the hips, finding our downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. And we're going to release that right foot back, finding our 3-legged dog. Taking a bend in the knee, finding those hip circles. 3 in one direction, and then alternating 3 in the opposite. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, rise, left foot comes back to center. Rising into that crescent on the opposite side. Being mindful that it might feel a little bit different on this side. Remember, you can take your arms to heart center, into goddess or cactus, or even up. Once you're comfortable, we're going to begin those pulses. Four, 5. And finally, we're going to take that knee down, releasing the bind. Arms to goddess or cactus, releasing them to the mat. Walking your foot to center, and finding that half split. And your exhale, release the foot back. Rising all the way into that modified crescent. Exhale, hands to heart center. Find that twist and open over onto the right side. Try not to dump into the left side. Remember to keep the core activated. And exhale, release back to center. Find that half split again, sending the hips back. Inhale, rise. And exhale, back to center. From here, we can just pull that right foot back. We're going to come up over the heels, coming to a comfortable seat, bringing the feet together. And slowly begin to create the butterfly motion here. The deeper that you have your feet in, the more you're going to feel it in those hips. We'll just spend a few breaths here, kind of lightly dribbling the legs, trying to sit tall. While we're here, you can focus the breath. Maybe release the bouncing. Find some stillness. As you exhale, we'll go ahead and send the feet out in front of us, coming into a staff pose. Planting the hands beside you, sitting tall, looking forward. Allowing that stillness to catch back up. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. As we exhale, take a slight bend in the knees, finding that forward fold in a seated variation. You can relax the neck here if you'd like, if it serves you. Flexing at the feet. As you inhale, rise the arms up, taking the feet just about mat width apart here. And for our last little kind of seated twist, we're going to take the right hand to the left foot. We're going to open up over to the back on the left side. And we're going to kind of work through like a pulsing motion. As we inhale, we're going to take that left hand toward the right foot. And as we exhale, we're going to open. So wherever you are, you might just be reaching for your shin or your knee. And exhale, releasing. We're going to work through 5. So that was 2, 3. Exhale, release. Inhale, 4. Exhale, release. Last one, inhale, 5. Big open heart here. Exhale, release. Right hand comes to right, left hand comes to right foot, right ankle, right knee. We're just gonna find a little twist here, opening the heart and taking the gaze up toward the ceiling. Feels really nice in the left side body. And then as we exhale, we just release the bind, walking the hands out to the front. And finally coming back upright. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So this time left hand comes to the right toes. Inhale and open to the back. Exhale, close it off. Inhale, open. Exhale, release. Inhale, open. Exhale, release. We've got 2 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, release. Last one. Big inhale, open. Exhale, release. Reaching for that left foot, left ankle, left shin or knee. Just opening that heart as much as you can to the sky. And exhale, releasing the pressure in the bind. We're going to come up just so that we can go onto our backs. We're going to take one bridge pose, then we'll kind of wind down with some lighter movement and our Savasana, our final resting pose. So from here we're going to walk the heels in slightly, palms on the floor beside us. Then we're going to tuck the tailbone and begin to rise the hips. If you need a little bit of support, you can always slide your block up under you. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can release it. Maybe even interlace the fingertips behind you. Really building some pressure in the glutes here. You shouldn't really feel it in your low back. And before we release, we're going to come onto the tiptoes and then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way down on the mat, taking the knees into the chest, rolling side to side. Maybe taking the knees in circles. Kind of whatever serves you here. Now on your next breath, we'll take the feet up into the air like legs up the wall, adding a little bit of support behind the knees with the hands if you'd like. Inversions are really, really good for you. They help release some good endorphins, reverse the blood flow, give you a new outlook, a different perception or view. Many people say inversions even help your hair grow faster. I don't know if there's any scientific proof for that or not. Just take 1 or 2 more breaths here with legs up to the wall. And as you exhale, slowly begin to reach for the outsides of the feet. Finding our happy baby pose, pressing our knees into our arms. Pressing our low back toward the mat. Maybe wiggling side to side, kind of rolling around. Maybe lengthening one leg at a time. Maybe lengthening both legs. And then finally meeting back in the middle. And taking our feet all the way down the mat. Releasing the palms, facing them up, relaxing the feet. Finding our final resting pose for this class. our Savasana. And as we lie here, reflecting on our practice for today, maybe take your hand over your heart just for a moment and thank yourself for showing up today. As you exhale, you can release the hands back down to the mat. And these next few moments of stillness are all for you. Maybe begin focusing on relaxing the muscles in your face. Unclenching your jaw. Relaxing your eyes and that little furrow in between your eyebrows. Relaxing your tongue and your cheeks. Letting gravity push you onto your mat. Feeling the earth's support beneath you. Continue to stay in your Savasana for as long as it serves you and as long as you need. This is your space. This is your time. Whenever you are ready to bring an awareness back into the body, you can begin by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe making circles with the wrists. Windshield wipering your feet. And as we inhale, we'll take one last full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead. Reaching with the fingers and toes before exhaling ourselves into a fetal pose on either side of your mat. Savasana translates from Sanskrit into corpse pose, and it represents the death of who you were before you practiced yoga today. This pose represents new beginnings, new life, and the start of your next adventure. Whenever you're ready for that adventure, you can meet me at a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Still letting your eyes be heavy, relaxing the shoulders, sitting comfortably onto the sit bones evenly. Take the hands over the heart. Feel your heartbeat. Thank yourself for showing up today. As we all know, it's the hardest part. It's just getting to the mat. Whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and take the arms out wide, sweeping them overhead for one last full body stretch before exhaling the hands to heart center, sealing in our practice for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful afternoon practice. I hope that you have found a little bit of calm at the end of your week, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste, Yogi.